Hey guys!
Hey, got two people waiting.
Wow, that was pretty cool. We barely made this, by the way. We got stuck in some crazy traffic coming across from our meeting on the other side of Seattle, and we took a risk with a closed bridge, and we got to it just as it opened.
You know, as you guys meet us in these live videos, you get to kind of see a lot of what we don't put on the crew episodes. For instance, again, doing business. A lot of what we do is business. It was just super boring for a crew episode. But we went out to see a gentleman, a friend of ours who deals with a lot of brands. And on the way back, the Blue Angels, they started up flying over what's Lake Washington out here. So they shut down the bridge, and then we just made it back to talk to you guys. But
so hello to our first viewers. Yotam, yes, you are first. Oh, hang on. I've got my own live video going here. Celtic Shadow and Colin, thanks for joining us and being the first on here this afternoon.
I'm gonna try something here. Do you think if I toggle off this, it'll shut off and go to Wi-Fi? There.
Oh, we didn't put it on our own Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Okay, we obviously did not prepare for this.
We were in a hurry, but we just got here for you guys, and we're gonna tell you about. Let us know if the connection is good. It's telling us it's not very good.
Yeah, we might have to swap to our Wi-Fi. So.
Let us know.
Meanwhile, just a quick hello there to Robert and Jay Gallup who have joined us. Thank you.
Yeah, we're heading over to Wyoming, and we just got back from OR, and so we're in about a week transition, hustling, doing a lot of talking, a lot of meetings, and we had a lot of great interest over in OR, which is the Outdoor Retailers. It was in Utah, and the Outdoor Retailers Convention was about 600 brand vendors, of which we were introducing ourselves to and telling them what we're about and what's happening so that we can meet some great people and fund our next projects, get some brands.
So Celtic Shadow says we're cutting in and out. So we're going to jump to Wi-Fi. Stay tuned. If it drop out, we'll quickly reestablish the feed.
Yeah, so it might establish another video. Hang on there. Here we go. Let's try that. Looks like we're coming back on, maybe. Let's see how that works.
How did that go? Are we back? Is the connection better? Hello to outer space. Anyway, drop us a line. Let us know if we have reconnected, and if the signal and connection is any better.
So our experience in OR.
Thank you, Jay Gallup.
All right.
It's much better. So we're back and rolling again.
Our experience over at OR was great. We met up with JD, who is our mountain safety guy up in China. We had Josie come over from China to work the OR Outdoor Retailers with us, and we stayed up at JD's girlfriend's house.
You would have actually started to meet JD in our most recent crew episodes if you've, I know you guys follow, which is awesome. So JD's the guy that rides the Skidoo for us, and he's pretty awesome. So we stayed at his place in Utah, just outside Ogden.
Ogden, north of Salt Lake.
We're going to put all of our, we've just finished cutting it. We've put all of our adventures together that we had in Utah last week, and we've put it all together in a big video, which we're going to release tonight, so you can check out everything that we're
Our shenanigans.
Yeah.
We did work and we played.
What we'd like to do on the live, of course, this is an opportunity for you guys to talk with us and ask us some questions. So please, talk to us. I'm monitoring the comments. So ask us any questions. We can kind of tell you guys what we're up to and what we're doing. And yeah. And at some point in this live video, we'll show you how to win something.
Oh yeah, we're gonna give away a few things that we brought back from OR. And we're going to tell you about Wyoming. That's coming up here. We leave for Wyoming Sunday?
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Yep.
For us, that's in a day and a half or 2 days. So it's going to be another wild ride through Wyoming, which we're going to film all the behind the scenes with the crew. JD will be racing in that race.
Yeah, so he won't be on our crew this time.
And we'll probably have Brian Lighton over doing some work with us.
And again, you've met Brian in Alaska. And he actually comes to China in some episodes that are scheduled to come out. So our first question, Eric, comes from Elias Bell. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. Are you coming to Montana?
We are. Are we going to be? I think we're going to be just south of Montana the whole time. I think we're dropping down. No, we might go through a corner of Montana. We might go through the Missoula area, down over to Bozeman, and then drop down through Bozeman, I think.
this is my first time driving this way through the country, so we're going to speed over there for the job, but we're going to take a scenic route back so that I can see some parts of the United States that I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting because this won't just be us filming adventure racing as we have done over in Wyoming, which will be spectacular in itself. But we're going to go back through Yellowstone. We're going to meet up with some of the athletes from the FKT project in China. We're going to meet up with some of the athletes from the ski film in China. We're going to hang out with them. Of course, we're going to film it all, have some fun. But we try to network. It's not just all fun as we move through there. We network with them. We keep the pipelines open for projects. A lot of the athletes we work with that we bring out to do what we do, they then come back and talk to us about projects that they want to do, and it's a big collaboration to keep it all together.
Dennis has made a comment here. Josh is in the Northwest right now. We actually have something special for all of you Josh fans, and we know we have a lot of them because of our collaboration we did with Josh in China. In the OR video that I just talked about that's coming out tonight, we have a special ending for you guys. I'm not going to reveal what it is, so stay tuned tonight when I drop that video, or early morning.
And that's all you can say unless you want to give it away.
That's it. But it's for the Josh fans, so hint, hint.
Yeah, so I think, tell you a little about OR. We were able to, I think some of you might have saw our impromptu live out on the lake. We were able to do that.
We did promise a lot more live out there, but we got swept up in a lot of meetings. I have a question though. A lot of the OR stuff will be answered in tonight's video.
That's true.
But we do have a question, if I can interrupt you there. This is from Celtic Shadow. Any plans to ever hit the east coast of the US?
Well, I think that we would, for work, I'm not sure. To develop work, probably yes. We would probably be heading over to New York over the next year, I would guess. We have a lot of assets over there as far as producers.
In fact, one of our shows is being edited in New York as we speak. We have some producers all over the country. And Alyssa, who you've seen in Alaskan episodes, and she joined us on a recent China one. She's doing an edit for us in the New York office, as we like to call it.
Yeah. So we probably head over to New York at some point.
I have some family over there. I have 3 cousins, an aunt and uncle that live over there in New York. So.
But any other part of the eastern seaboard isn't on the foreseeable future.
Not for a job or an adventure, but we might head over there for business or pleasure, and that usually turns into an adventure for us.
My guess is we're going to time some of these trips we have to take next year to some of the different countries around the world. We'll probably go through New York, and we usually like to take a long layover, see some things in New York, see some friends, network. So I'm sure we'll do it a few times.
We do have, if you want to see us in New York, we have actually been there before as the crew, as Eric was mentioning. So if you dig back into the playlists, there's a couple of episodes, one-offs as layovers where we've stopped into New York.
Yeah, that was quite fun. That was impromptu. I believe that stop in New York, there was a shooting at one of the airports, and we were flying over the airport, and we're looking down, clear blue sky, and then on the PA they say, we're not landing due to weather conditions. And we look and what weather would that be?
I can see right down through to Manhattan Island.
They didn't tell us that something was going on at the airport, and we ended up in Boston. And then we came back to New York for another day.
That was on our way to Ireland. So if you check out the Ireland playlist, you can see us in New York.
Yeah. Yes.
Yotam has a question for us, and he's actually inspired me to ask you guys a question. Yotam asks, have you guys ever been to Cyprus? He's going there next week. Now, I know that we haven't been there, but this has prompted us. We've been to a lot of places. I'd like to know some of the most random places you guys have been to that perhaps we haven't been to. You know where we've been. So let us drop in the comments where is your most random or remote or crazy place you guys have ever been.
Can we pick like one of the giveaways for one of those? Like,
no, the giveaway's got a different thing. This is just a question.
I always go off script. There isn't a script, but I still go off it. Yeah, I've never been to Cyprus. I haven't spent a lot of time. We're just discussing with a friend of ours we were doing some work with, of all the places we've been, and I told him I haven't been to a lot of places, and he goes, "Oh, Eric, you've been to a lot of places." But what I was trying to say is I've not been to a lot of places that anyone else has been to. So I've never been to France or Paris. I've never been to a lot of the civilized world, I guess you would say.
Yotam says that you're a savage.
I am a savage.
He is. It's the best way to say it.
I got a shirt on.
Yeah, with a collar.
Yeah, with a collar.
Yeah.
What are you on about?
Stepping up.
So we're over at Outdoor Retailers. We've set some really cool things in motion. We had some brands that have been really interested in what we're doing. We got new watches.
Excuse me if I'm looking down. I'm just answering some of you guys' questions.
So this is a watch with an altimeter on it, Momentum watches, and it was really cool. We've struck up a relationship with them that we're developing, and several other brands developing a running project around the world where we're going to film some running with some pretty cool people. So that's going to be pretty exciting to do. We were quite pleasantly surprised with the interest in the crew, what you guys watch. The brands thought it was innovative, they thought it was unique, and they liked Vivian. So, and the other dude with her. But it was really nice to see. So we're going to continue that momentum of the crew over into Wyoming. And getting over into Wyoming is going to be pretty exciting. We can't tell you a lot about where we're going because the route is still top secret.
Well, if you guys know much about adventure racing, which is one of the main things we film, we kind of do everything adventure, ski films and ultra running, but adventure racing pops up a fair bit for us. The nature of adventure racing includes land navigation, which a map and a compass. And therefore you can't give them a course route, you can't tell them where they're going, there's no marked flags. So although we know as the film crew, we can't ever publicize it before the race.
It's in Wyoming. And
that's all you can know.
It's around the Casper area. I think we can tell them that. That's about it, I think. It'll be fun. We always fly somewhere. We're driving this time. So we take off Sunday morning. We're going to drive all day. And then
we'll meet up with the rest of our crew. As we said, Brian's already out there waiting for us. And who else? A couple of photographers that you would have met from Alaska.
Chris Radcliffe will be there. Chris Radcliffe was up on the hill with me when I was eating moss. I was doing the lichen and moss taste testing up on the hill in Alaska. Chris was up there. Oh, and the wolf was stalking us. There was a wolf up there stalking us. I don't know what episode that is, but it's in the Alaska playlist.
So one of the earlier episodes.
Yeah.
We have a question here from Celtic Shadow. I think it's a bit of a laugh joke, but it's a fair question. Do people still know how to use a compass and map?
Well, not very many. But in the adventure racing and orienteering world, obviously all of them, a lot of people that still adventure out, if they're smart, they should still know how to use one outside of GPS. Batteries run out. That's life. And electronics get broken. But even if you break your compass, you can still make a compass while you're out there and use your map. I used to teach land navigation with map and compass for years at the REI flagship store. So I'd like to think some people are passing that knowledge on.
Just a quick note so that you know what I'm doing when my head's down. I'm answering some of your questions here. There's been a couple of answers here about remote stuff. Celtic Shadow said that ruins in southern Mexico and Central America. We have seen some ruins, actually. In that part of
Mayan ruins. We went out to some Mayan ruins in Belize on the Guatemalan border.
Yeah, so check out that playlist in the Belize
playlist. I cannot remember the name of the ruins, but we were out in the Chicabul Forest Preserve and the Chicabul Archaeological Preserve site in Belize. That's all I can remember about that. I can't speak Mayan very well.
But anyway, just keep your eyes on the comments and we'll kind of be reading your questions and some of the answers we'll reply here. But we do have a question here from Abby VMHS Science. Do you mind if I nickname you Abby? What's worse, an 8-hour bus ride or an 8-hour flight?
Depends on the bus and which country the bus is in. We've been on some epic bus rides in some crazy countries. But bus ride or 8-hour flight?
8-hour flight. An 8-hour flight's pretty short for us.
Yeah, 8 hours like as a super commute. That's fast.
So I would say an 8-hour bus ride is worse.
Way worse.
You don't get food on the bus. Little airplane meals. The toilet's pretty bad on the bus.
Or there's not a toilet and the whole bus has to stop.
It's actually, a plane's a lot more stable than a bus. So you don't get like road sick or anything on a plane. Once you're in the plane, you're pretty much, apart from some random turbulence, which...
Yeah. And, you know, on a bus...
That's my opinion.
The interesting parts about a bus is there might be some chickens on there with you and some locals who have great conversations. But I think the plane flight for sure, especially 8-hour plane flight, that's super fast. The flights that we go on are typically 15 hours to 50-hour transits. I mean, the flight doesn't go that long, but the entire transit with layovers. So yes, 8-hour flights are awesome. I look forward to those.
So we've been talking at you now for 15 minutes, and thank you very much. Let's introduce our giveaway and how you can win it. So we went to OR, as you know, and you're about to find out more about Outdoor Retailers and what we did in Utah when I dropped that video. But we picked up a few interesting things that we'd love to share with you guys. This is something that we use a lot of. It's a waterproof phone pouch. That's not a real phone in there, but you put it in, it seals it really tight, and it floats. That's the flotation device in the back there. There's a neck strap. Yep.
We got a couple of those, right?
We got a couple of these, so this will be the first one we do this week. We'll throw in a few extra things like a lens cloth and a key ring. But the main thing here, in order to win this, all you have to do is comment on our episode this Sunday, so our main episodes that you guys are used to watching. That'll be episode 112. Drop us a comment about the time that you got your phone wet, or another piece of electronic equipment. In other words, how this will end up.
So is it getting their phone wet doing something like really cool, or could they drop it in the toilet?
Well, I want to know. I mean, I've dropped my phone in the toilet before.
Oh yeah, that's right. And her wallet.
Ironically, but this is great. I do use these water pouches when we go kayaking, but that doesn't stop me when I'm just doing normal day-to-day stuff, like going to the toilet.
Cool.
So, we'll bring that up again at the end of the episode. So don't worry if you've missed us live and you're watching this retrospectively. The comment is for the video that's coming out on Sunday, our main episode. So drop us a comment on that.
Yeah.
So, Yotam says, looks cool. Celtic says this will be fun to take part in, read other people's comments. And Yotam wants to know, is there shit in there? There's a flotation device and a neck strap.
And a lanyard. There's nothing inside it.
So you put your phone in. It's got a Velcro seal that you roll over like a dry bag. You put it in and then you squeeze the air out, and then it floats. And that's just a fake phone that's in there. So, no free phone. Sorry, we're not that big yet. But you must subscribe and like the video, and then comment. You know the usual stuff with a YouTube giveaway.
Yeah, someday maybe we'll have phones or something like that. We're talking with Global Star about doing some things. So who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, a satellite phone.
We're working on, as the more you spread the news about us, we're getting bigger. Each week we notice that more and more subscribers and people are joining us. But of course, as we start to get bigger, we can start bringing more and more prizes and giveaways, and we can do meetups and things like that. So spread the news, subscribe, get involved in the crew. It's only going to be more beneficial for you guys.
Yeah, and this is next Friday. Where will we be next Friday when we do this? We're going to be in Wyoming. Someone
wanted me to wave so they know it's really live.
Hello, it's really live. We're waving. Now people are going to start asking us to do weird stuff.
Don't do that.
Don't ask us weird stuff.
One free wave.
Because I'm the only one who'll do it. If you won't do it.
Razorback got the free wave. Yotam said, so you said your phone fell into the toilet. Yes, it did. It was before anything. It was like I hadn't actually used the toilet, if that's what you're wondering about. So it was clean water, and it was in my, it was in my pajama pant pocket. Like, I don't really have pajamas, but like tracksuit pants. I don't know. It fell in. It was early morning, and I was fiddling with it. I didn't put it in the pocket properly, and it fell on the phone in the water. And
Viv dropped her wallet into a hutong toilet in the hutongs of Beijing. Her wallet with her ID.
Yes, Denise just said, and her wallet.
Yes.
So I must have told this story.
We probably have told this story because it's so good.
Anyway, I've dropped a fair few things in toilets. I don't know why.
Loose pockets.
2 things. I've dropped 2 things. I've dropped a phone and a wallet.
I've dropped nothing in these toilets.
So anyway, we want to hear your stories with getting electronics wet and effectively how that pouch would help you. But we were most interested in your stories because we're storytellers and we love stories. So read each other's comments, reply and interact and all of that, and we'll just randomly pick someone and send that pouch over to you.
Yeah, so next Friday, we're going to... What's in the bottle behind you? Sorry, I wasn't supposed to read those, but I just saw it.
Up there, that bottle?
That one?
That's wine. Do you want me to get it?
Sure, why not? It's a bottle of wine.
There's a few things here people have been talking to us if you want to...
Oh, all right. I'll take a look
They've
back.
mostly just been laughing at us.
Mostly laughing at us, of course. Let's see.
I like to say they're laughing with us. Here we go.
All right.
This was a present from Eric, and you can probably figure out why he gave it to me. Oh, is that going to be reversed in your screen?
I have no idea. Not in theirs.
Anyway, it says Chateau Smith. And if you know my surname, that would make sense.
Yeah, so...
It's red wine.
So she hasn't drank it
It's a
yet.
Cab Sav.
Time to drink it.
Cabernet Sauvignon. There we go.
I keep trying to say what we're going to be doing next Friday. We're going to be in Wyoming. We're in Wyoming, and we're going to go live from Wyoming.
Well, would we have finished our job? I'm checking our calendar.
Will we have finished our job? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No?
No, we would be right in the middle of our job.
Well, we'll have to go live while we're working over there.
So bear with us if next week's live is not exactly on the dot of 3 o'clock. But we're still trying to figure out with our crazy schedule how to bring a regular live to you guys. So we appreciate you hanging in there.
Right now, our regular live is Friday at 3 o'clock every Friday. Of course, last Friday that didn't happen. This Friday it did. Next Friday, we're hoping it'll happen in some form, but it's who knows where the signal will be out in Wyoming on that particular day.
So I've got a couple of questions here. I'm going to do... Celtic Shadow asks, do you guys have a P.O. box that we can send things to? If you're going to share with us, then we should be able to share with you. Thank you, Celtic Shadow. I think the best thing we do have a P.O. box. Do you know it off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, it's probably easier to write it down. We'll
drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
So just keep your eye on the comments. As for another question, Yotam S. In what country have you been in the Middle East? Is it really dangerous as people say? If not the Middle East, any other war zone places?
Well, we've been in the Middle East, and I don't think I really would call the United Arab Emirates as a Middle East war zone military place. I mean, they have a lot of rules around the way you conduct yourself because it's a religious state. We've been to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And then we've been up to northern India, northern China, which is kind of an extension of that entire kind of tension in that area. Viv's been to Kyrgyzstan.
We've been into places where there's
Middle
been
East.
terrorist activity happening, and terrorist activity is all over the world, and it's not just the big ISIS stuff that you hear about on CNN all the time. There's a lot of displaced people all over the world that are very angry, and they take up arms in small ways, and we've often been involved or on the edge of that kind of action. So we've gone through a lot of military checkpoints. We've been escorted by the police going into these regions. You can see that in India. There's an episode where we're being escorted by the police. Northern China, we have to be very careful. But we're usually pretty sensitive to the reasons why all of this is happening and the politics behind it, and we take the precautions we need. We bring in people who are sensible, and that's kind of one of the specialties of our crew, is that we can go into these places and do it properly and safely.
We make a point not to get politically involved. We don't, regardless of our opinion about what's happening in a region, we don't think it's our forum to discuss the politics or to get involved in the areas or online or in our crew or social media. I mean, everybody, the people who have the problems and the governments who have the problems with the people in the regions, they all have their reasons, and both sides are usually pretty valid. And you just can't get mixed up in that. And we wouldn't get invited back to these places.
Yotam wants to ask, is this the one with the toy copter? And it is. So India...
That's one of them.
That's one of them. India and... I mean, even Belize, we got escorted out by the Defence Force. So we don't so much go into war zones. That would be highly irresponsible. And there's often not much work that we can do there because they're doing a very serious job there. But we do go into regions that have a huge military presence, and they're very kind of, what's the word, sensitive political areas.
Very, very sensitive. And one of the things we like to do when we go into these areas is to come out of there showing people it's still an amazing area. The people are still friendly. They're still great. It's like saying, is LA dangerous or is New York City dangerous?
Well, on that point,
there are pockets there.
Abby's asked, would you ever go to Mexico?
Yeah, I would go anywhere in the world, because what I've found, if you get connected with the right people in the area, you get good information, you're not an ass yourself, and you don't walk around with expectations, generally people will leave you alone. People won't target you. There's always going to be the chance of something happening, but you really need to go through these areas and understand what's going on. You don't have to agree with it, but you need to know how to move through it. I think I would go anywhere with the proper preparation.
Somewhat related question from Razorback. Have you ever gotten food poisoning eating some of the local dishes when on locations?
Often.
Yes. Again, head to the India episode, I think right towards the end of that playlist. Eric was convinced that he was not going to get it because he had 12-year-old scotch the night before.
Well,
I don't want to ruin the episode.
Nope, but they need to know you guys were sick. That's why.
Oh, yes, sorry. So, drone pilot Larkin and I had gotten sick.
Really sick.
Yeah. Camped out in the toilet all night. And then Eric was quite proud of himself the next morning that he didn't get sick, and of course gave the credit to the 12-year-old scotch that he drank. Cue, 12 hours later, Eric is camping out in the toilet.
I was pretty sure the scotch was going to work. It'd kill any bugs in my stomach.
I get stuff. I mean, in China, I get hit with something every time.
Yeah.
It's random. My mother is not happy. She thinks I could take better care of myself.
You go into these random environments and you're exposed to things you've not been exposed to. And viruses cycle around the world, like the influenza virus. Bacteria is a resident and they're a different strain. You got all kinds of different parasites. You're going to get exposed to these. It's not that big a deal. It's not that crazy and wild and gross. We've always been exposed to these all the time for the history of humankind. It's just recently that being exposed to those has been an issue. I guarantee you, up until about a couple hundred years ago, most of your ancestors had worms.
On that really nice topic, do you want to take a short break and post the PO box in the comments, and then we'll put it in the description?
Sure. Do I have to do it now? I can do it later.
Oh, they're just asking.
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
Do you know it?
Yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it just after this. So we'll get that put in there.
So stay tuned to the. You might have to scroll down then, as Eric will put that in towards the end, probably just before we sign off. There was a question here. Do you guys believe in spirits and ghosts? Have you ever had experiences with them in a trip?
I do not. I'm a scientist by training and by nature.
But that doesn't mean you don't believe in ghosts.
That is why I don't believe in ghosts or spirits. Sorry. It's just, I think there's a practical and physical environment explanation for all of those things which we think are spirits or ghosts. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm not saying anything about someone who does believe it. I'm just saying I don't.
Well, we haven't had any experiences with them, I don't think. I mean, I've been scared in the Alaskan bush because I thought there were bears behind me.
Which there weren't.
I'm often way more scared of things that are alive. Humans are really, really, really nasty
just gonna say,
they're alive.
Humans
Animals
are the scariest
when they're
thing.
alive.
Humans scare the heck out of me. They are vicious and horrible.
But not you guys.
Yeah. Bad humans.
Bad humans. No, unfortunately we don't have any good ghost stories for you. I don't know why. Maybe after we... Yeah.
I don't know. We've never been to a lot of Eastern Europe. Maybe we need to get there. And I heard it's quite ghost heavy, spirit heavy.
Yeah. And we'll of course let you know if we do have any ghost or spirit stories. Have you guys ever seen any rare animals in your travels? Or you more in the human side? No, we run into some cool animals.
Yeah, cool animals, cool insects.
I've punched a baboon. That was pre-crew days. That was before we started filming our adventures. We have like a couple of years of filming experience behind us before we started putting it all on YouTube. So there's a few stories, unfortunately, that we haven't recorded.
Yeah, Viv fought a baboon inside a van or a truck.
Tried to steal my lunch.
Don't take her lunch. What is some other cool stuff that we've run into?
We saw an ibex.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw a remote white wolf in northern India.
Oh, no, that was the rare Himalayan a mating pair of Himalayan wolves.
That footage we actually have on the crew.
Yes.
Larkin hid a GoPro inside a carcass of an animal, and then when the wolves came up and started eating the animal, then the GoPro was shooting up at them eating. So that is some of the coolest footage we've ever come across.
In the Himalayas of India up there, I think I looked it up. There's like 600 of them in all these huge mountains, and we ran into a mating pair up there. Pretty neat. Matter of fact, that same wolf at the same period of time ended up in National Geographic's special. Yeah, not the exact same wolf, but those wolves, those rare wolves, showed up in this series National Geographic was doing.
That's cool.
Somebody told me.
We've seen jaguars.
Jaguars, yeah.
In Belize. Well, we didn't see them. We were following their tracks.
They were following us. They followed us in, and we saw them on the way back out. Yeah. So we had, jaguars.
Howler monkeys overnight. Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, lots of snakes, spiders, strange insects in China. We've eaten some cool stuff, too.
Yeah. No, there's definitely animals in our crew episodes, not just humans. So as you watch them, you'll see us interact with them. A couple of questions. I'll run them together. What's the craziest thing that has ever happened when on locations? And are you going to Africa in the future? Maybe a safari type expedition. That's from Florida Scott and Razorback.
What was the first part of that?
Craziest thing that's ever happened? And are you heading to Africa in the future?
My guess is we're heading to Africa in the future. We have good friends over there who host us as we do some of the things we do.
Also part of our crew, Charla and Simon.
Yeah, Charla and Simon are over there. That's right.
And Heidi and Stefan.
Bet we're heading over there to see those guys at some point. And if you want to see us kind of doing Africa safari kind of stuff, you can look back at the African episodes where we are with Charla and Simon and those guys.
We have been there. If you want to see us there, head over to those episodes.
Yeah, I've walked on the same ground as white lions before. That was pretty special. And Viv and I have held the tusks of wild elephants. Held them as in like while they're alive, put our hand on it.
Yeah, like the tusk was still part of the animal.
Yeah.
So don't worry, we're not abusing animals. Denise wants me to tell the story of when I fell off a cliff and grabbed the hold of the animal. I'll give the abridged version, because I do a longer version for my kids' show. Kids love that story. But essentially we were in Nepal, again, pre-crew days before we were filming. You were there. Mm-hmm. And I was very tired, and I was walking along this very narrow edge path in Nepal, and there were some yaks approaching, and I tried to go around them, and I slipped, and I fell, and as I was grabbing up for something to grab onto, hopefully like a tree root or some sort of something, I grabbed onto the horn of a yak, and it kind of yanked down, and I fell down, and I was, fortunately it was way bigger than me, so it was able to hold me as I hung there.
So picture this yak really pissed off. This skinny white girl's hanging off its head, and she's hanging over an abyss.
Yeah. Ready
to fall to her death. That happened.
The Sherpa Nepalese guy that owned the yaks was a little bit upset with me that I had grabbed onto his yak. I was like, I was about to die.
Don't mess with the yaks.
But there was one witness to that, and unfortunately I got in trouble from the rest of the camera crew that night for not filming it. So they're very upset. They're like, it didn't happen unless it was filmed.
If you don't film falling to your death, I don't know what to tell you. That might be the moment you want to showcase.
There's so many good stories that we haven't filmed.
Yeah, the stuff you see on the crew is just part of it. Sometimes you can't get that camera out in time because you're drowning or something.
Here's a question from Celtic Shadow, who's been really awesome. A lot of you guys have been awesome asking questions this live broadcast. Celtic asks, did either of you have any fears prior to these adventures that you would say you have overcome because of the places you've gone? Also, Florida wants to know if we use motorbikes.
We do use motorbikes. We'll start with that. We'll get back to the fear thing. Motorbikes.
My career kind of started on the back of a motorbike, filming cycle races.
We filmed all of the Ladakh Marathon up in Leh Ladakh off of the back of motorbikes all day long. That was pretty sketchy. I don't think I had a helmet on.
We're not going to advocate for not wearing a helmet. So yeah, head over to India. We've told you guys to head to India a few times now. Yeah. So there's a few answers to a lot of your questions
You'll
in
see
our
us
India
on
episodes.
motorbikes.
Yeah, we're on motorcycles there.
As far as fears we had going into doing all this that have been fears eradicated because we've done these things, this sounds a bit arrogant and ridiculous, but honestly, there's nothing I fear in life. There's one thing I don't fear, but
it's fear, Eric. You can't thesaurus.
No, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's called fear.
No.
You've told me.
It's not fear.
It is fear. It's okay to be scared.
I don't like being alone. It is not scary. It isn't fearful. I just don't like being alone. I prefer not to. Otherwise.
Okay.
Otherwise, I fear nothing. What about you? I know what you're afraid of.
What am I afraid of?
No.
Bears.
Yeah.
I'm very scared of bears. I probably overcame that a little bit, actually. If you're talking about a fear that I had that I overcame.
Until we put her right back out in Alaska, and then it's Eric getting back so they can eat.
Well,
you first.
I guess I had a bit more understanding about bears. Eric was like, they're not going to attack you. You smell. You're really loud and obnoxious. Unless you accidentally get between a mother and a baby, they really have no need to attack you. So I guess I learned a little bit more about my irrational fear of being mauled by a bear. I don't know why I would be scared of that. I don't think that's a bad fear to have, to be honest.
We'll see next time we're out in bear country, which is, I believe, where we're going in Wyoming. So we'll see.
Here's a couple.
Viv's entire bear plan is to put me behind her. So if they come up behind her, because apparently that's where bears approach all the time. No. They'll come up and eat me first, and she can run away.
That's my plan.
Somebody said something about isolation I saw come up. What was that?
They said you have a fear of isolation.
Well, who is this? Florida Scott. It's not a fear of isolation.
Okay, this isn't a whole nother broadcast.
If you put me in a cell somewhere and I had to survive there, I would survive. I think just being alone wandering around with no purpose, that's the issue.
Okay, we could go into this on another separate broadcast. Couple of fun questions. Have you ever been to Rome or other historical places with a lot of tourists? Viv, would you ever do an adventure race?
Wow, good question on the adventure race. Do tell.
No, I would never do an adventure race.
But
what?
Recently?
No, what do you mean?
You've been approached by...
Okay, so Brian, who I think we've mentioned Brian a lot, and he's been on our live broadcast last week. He's been in Alaska episodes. He and Eric's daughter want me to join them on an adventure race. My reason is simple. I film them a lot for my job, and I get a lot of the adventure out of filming them. Secondly, there's a lot of other sports that I've invested a lot of time and money in, and I would like to put my time towards those, like backcountry skiing and surfing. And I also would like to maintain my friendship with Eric, so I don't want to put it under the pressures of an adventure race.
Why would your friendship with me diminish?
Because you're crazy out there! You go into battle mode when you're outside, and you got a mission, and you're on target, and you're just kind of scary when you're out there.
Yeah. That's good, right?
Well, not... Anyway, not now, in my current state of mind. Riley's daughter is watching... Not Riley's daughter. That would be a trouble for you, wouldn't it? Eric's daughter, Riley, is watching, and she's trying to get me onto the team. But we're not going to do that.
Not yet. We'll get there.
As for the tourist question...
yes, tourist question.
I have been to Rome.
I have been to... No, I haven't. I've been to Florence. Sorry.
Different place.
Same thing.
We have been to some touristy places. I lived in Paris for a bit as I studied there, and so it was very easy from Paris to take a weekend trip somewhere or a week trip. So
I did not live in Paris.
I didn't say it like that.
I lived in the mountains.
It's a fact.
I know, but I'm not gonna lie about it. Making you say it like that.
You're making me sound like a knobber. Do I look anyway? So yes, I have before I started my career and I was still a college student, I did a lot of traveling around Europe and saw a lot of cool places. So, there you go. Eric, you got stern with Viv getting her across the river. Yes, Denise, that's exactly what I'm talking about. that was that was done in our job environment. Imagine if I had to do that like for 3 days out in an adventure race with Eric.
But I did get you across the river.
Yeah, I know, it was painful. I don't want to go back and repeat the river exercise.
It's kind of fun.
I think you'd be a great teammate for somebody else. So it's 20 to
time
4.
To wrap here.
We unfortunately do have yet another meeting to go to. I've got to get you a video.
We have a meeting in 20 minutes.
Yes, plus I have to get you a video that I promised about our OR stuff with our surprise at the end.
And get the P.O. box in here.
We're going to send out the P.O. box information. So we are going to sign off in a few minutes. If you want to throw in your last questions, we're going to quickly remind you about the giveaway. Eric, what do they have to do?
Comment.
You forgot.
What
Comment on Sunday's episode 112. We're out in China, still making the ski film, so you can follow that story. Drop us a comment on that episode telling us about a time when you destroyed your mobile phone because it got wet, or another piece of electronic equipment.
What was that question that just popped up?
Eric, how tall and big are you? Man, you look tough.
I'm a softie. I'm not that tough at all. I just don't stop.
That's a lie.
Don't
get this guy engaged. He is like a national champion wrestler or something?
No. Not national champion. I went and wrestled in the beginning of the Olympic ladder on one of the qualifier rankings at one point in my life.
So don't mess with him. He'll like twist your arm and get it in weird fucking places and it will really hurt.
I'm about 225 pounds maybe, and 6 foot.
The opposite of Viv,
Yeah.
Skinny white girl. Oh, like, you're not a large black guy.
I'm not that big really, but I have some skills, so luckily I've not had to use them.
That's why we're a good team in the environments we are. Anyway, we've probably got to say, Florida Scott did say, "I'm Viv the protector."
You're Viv.
Protector.
Viv protects me verbally
from saying the wrong stuff.
from making an ass of myself.
Alright guys, we'll probably better sign off. Thanks for your last questions. Thank you all of those. Florida Scott, Yotam, Celtic Shadow. Yes, I am learning Krav Maga, so watch out as I get better at that. Denise, Abby, Jay Gallup, all of you guys. Sorry if I've missed a few of you.
Alright, yeah, it was fun. We'll see you next Friday from Wyoming.
Don't forget to watch the episode on Sunday and drop us a comment.
Oh, and today's coming out the episode about OR with a little
it's just a fun crew cut. It's a summary video of what happened last week. So I'll drop that tonight.
And a little fun thing at the end.
Cool.
All right. Cheers, guys. Talk to you later.
Thanks so much.